Advised by Jackie Stewart in the night on his son's racing team. I'm afraid we're unable to, but we hope to return to this theme in the spring series. We turn instead to rallying and the Top Gear Historic Rallying Championship. Chris Goffey took part in the Telford Stages Rally back in the summer.
If Top Gear was to lend its name to the Heritage Rally Championship, it seemed only right that we should do more than simply stand on the sidelines and watch the competitors. At least, that's what they told me in the office. So I found myself back in my racing overalls with an ex-works Mini Clubman to drive in the second round of the championship at Telford's Town Park. We were to start at number 24 from the 60-strong entry list. But in front of me was a fabulous pre-war BMW sports car.
We bought the car to enjoy many years ago now, and well, I'm still enjoying it, you know.
Do you think too many of these things end up locked up in a museum and never see the light of day?
Yeah, well, this normally lives in a museum, but I do like to bring it out.
So the climb in value of something like this hasn't deterred you from sport?
I take it a little easier than I used to be honest, yes.
So if we catch you up on the stage,
I'll let you buy, yeah, without a doubt.
Thanks very much. This is the time when the butterflies really start flying around your stomach. We're just coming up to the start line for the first stage, and my brave co-driver here is just about to find out how terrible I am at stage rallying. The car, I must say, feels very strong and plenty of power, but it's the first time I've driven it in anger, and just those 20 feet back there, it does seem to move around on the road a lot. And since these roads are so narrow, there's very little room for error. Clutch slips in it.
Keep the right as bump. Oh, struggle this one. That's it. Not this one, next one, next one.
With the limited slip diff pulling the Mini around on the loose, I was finding the car a bit of a handful.
Okay, 90 right here.
And the sharp bends needed a delicate touch on the handbrake.
Something's off, be careful. Keep going, but just watch it.
Car off there. Obviously a Mini got it very badly wrong on the loose. And there's no room for error because there's a big hole in the road. And that's
90 right here, Chris.
Everybody down a bit. But I wasn't the only one finding myself sideways.
Well, it's very slippy with all these ball bearings all over the place, and we've got rather hard tyres, not these very modern tyres. We scattered a few spectators and ended up pointing down the road we wanted to go, so we didn't lose a lot of time.
People get so much pleasure out of seeing the car that to have a car that's 40 years old, that was, you know, in its day one of the greatest sports cars, winner of Le Mans in 1950, 51 and 52. It seems a pity not to have them out here where people can actually see them.
Well, you're hardly wrapping this in cotton wool, are you? We've seen you doing some quite exotic exhibits out there. You know?
Yeah. Well, when you're out there and someone goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's just hit the pedal and you go and you really...
No, that's not true, Trevor. I actually said there's a TV camera up there, and so he then spun it. Just for you.
Ah, right.
Now, a man with an awful lot of horses under the bonnet. Ron, you've got a beautiful Ford Falcon, but it must be a real handful on this tight course.
It's a big handful. It's a bit too big for the narrow roads here. I've got to try and keep both sides of the car on the road. Normally in my rallying career it's trying to keep one side on the road. But...
Now, what's it like to drive? I noticed you wrestling with the wheel out there.
Well, I haven't got power steering, and my rally cars for the previous 10 years have had power steering, so I'm wimp here. They've got empty overalls, so I've got to go on a muscle building course.
And it's 5 turns of the wheel,
five turns of the wheel, and I've only got one end, because the other end I've got to hold it in gear. It jumps out of gear.
But despite that, you're enjoying it?
Yeah, it's great fun.
Fastest on the stage was Tony Dron in an MGB.
This is an exact copy of the 1964 Works Monte Carlo car, down to the little clips on the boot lid and the dash panel, the camshaft, the entire engine specification. It's got about 140 brake horsepower at the flywheel.
Exactly. Now, what does standard MGB develop?
What's a standard MGB develop? 95. 95.
So you've got a lot more power than a standard car here.
Yes, but what we haven't got is 1990 technology. This is exactly as the works car 7DVL went out for the Monty in 1964. Precisely. We had the build sheet from Abingdon, copied it.
A wide range of pre-74 cars take part in the championship, from A90s to the Skodas that did so well for years on the RAC. But of course everyone has a soft spot for the Mini. This is John Brigden's 850 screaming its heart out to the delight of the crowd. And the Morgans were in their element. But soon it was our turn again. With a bit of practice round the stages, we were getting a bit quicker now, and I was getting the hang of the Clubman's handling, its peaky engine and that narrow gear change gate.
Much more impressive.
Beside me, former European historic rally champion Paul Howcroft was occasionally tight-lipped as disaster threatened, but to his credit, he never screamed once.
Very nice.
With its full works sub-guard, roll cage and rally suspension, I had few qualms about the rough surfaces, but I wondered how owners and drivers of the more valuable machines were able to subject their prized possessions to such violent batterings. I developed a nasty habit of jamming on the fly-off handbrake, which did some of our stage times no good at all. But as the event wore on and the shadows lengthened, we'd slipped only 5 places down the rally order, and on one stage we'd been 14th fastest.
Right here.
Paul, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
A very brave man.
Well,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. What was I doing wrong on this event?
I don't think you did very much wrong at all, Chris. I think you did very well. If you'd been used to the car, if you'd driven it every weekend or every other weekend, I think you would have been 10 seconds around faster easily.
Paul, if you're going to do it again, let me know. I'd love to come along. Well, we didn't finish particularly high up the pecking order, and that was primarily due to driver failure, but it's been a very enjoyable event and an eye-opener as to just how hard these guys tried in their historic rally cars.
Well, the last round of that competition takes place on the 25th of November at Clumber Park in Nottinghamshire, using the same special stage, in fact, as the Lombard RAC. So historic rally cars in the morning, modern-day rally cars in the afternoon.